Hi guys, and welcome to CSUN's chemistry video series. I'm Stephen Ruark, and today we're going to be doing thin layer chromatography, which is Lab 5 for 333. I've laid out the supplies we need. You're going to want TLC plates, tweezers to handle those plates. You're going to need capillary tubes, a development jar, of course your development solvent, the compound you're going to be testing, and then a visualization method, which is typically UV and then an iodine stain. Alright, so to start out, I suggest taking your development jar and placing a filter paper inside. It's important not to touch anything with your hands, so gotta get it along the inside of the jar, so it's sitting on the bottom, and then adding about half a centimeter of solvent. Just enough to coat the bottom. At this point, go ahead and just put the lid back on the jar and put it aside. You want this solvent to draw up the wick, and it helps in developing a clean TLC. Alright, so you're also going to need TLC plates, and the TLC plates have two sides. They have a shiny side and they have a matte side. The matte side is coated with silica gel, and that's the side we're going to be using. It's important that you don't touch this with your fingers. You have organic compounds on your skin that will transfer onto the silica gel and ruin your development or your results. Alright, so we then have our compound we're testing and capillary tubes. Capillary tubes are not melting point capillary tubes. So make sure you get the actual correct ones. They should be hollow on either side. The bottle works like a salt shaker to get one out. Alright? Then dip your capillary tube into the solvent you're using. Of course, you're going to be putting it into a small beaker and not from the reagent bottle, but for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to go with that. So there's a little bit of compound now on the tip, and I'm just going to spot the TLC plate at the bottom. And you can spot it as many times as you'd like, with as many different compounds as you need, just one in each layer. Alright, it's a good idea to take your pencil and just mark where your starting is, and then you can go ahead and put it inside your development jar. Alright, and just lower it in there, close the jar, and leave it be until it's done developing.
Is it ready?
Yep.
Nice.
Alright, now that it's done developing, and the solvent front is close to the top, you want to go ahead and pull it out, and then quickly mark, don't drop it, and quickly mark where the solvent front was. At this point, using the visualization method, using the UV lamp as a visualization method, you should be able to actually see the spots on the TLC. So in these ones, they barely moved up. So it's important not to look into the lamp, and at this point you can touch it with your fingers. Then you're just going to take a pencil and lightly circle all the spots that you see. I spotted 3 times, I see 3 spots. Alright, and now we know where they started, we know where the solvent front ended, and that's important for calculating your retention factor or RF value. As a secondary visualization method, we'll be using an iodine stain. So not everything is UV active, so if you just pick it up and dunk it into your iodine, you can shake it up and probably just leave it in here for a minute or so. And then after your minute, take it out And then any new spots that have stained, go ahead and just mark them with an X. So if a spot was initially you circled, but now it's stained, you can put an X over it. And that's just to let you know that it's stained both ways. All right, thanks for joining me today and learning about TLC. If you have any other questions, be sure to ask your instructor. And remember, safety first.